Hi, I'm Scott Perry, and this is Real Estate Moment with Scott Perry. Nowadays, with all the crazy things going on, shelter in place, COVID, the stock market uncertainty, people are always asking me, hey, Scott, what's the housing market like? Let's go over that and take a look at what's going on in our area. So these are the 5 MLS counties that comprise our MLS group, which is San Mateo, Santa Clara, Santa Cruz, San Benito, and Monterey counties. Let's take a look at the numbers compared this time versus the same time last year in 2019. First line is closed sales. We are down 34% in closed sales from when we were in 2019. That's quite a bit. Second one is new listings. These are people that are hesitant about putting their house on the market because of economic uncertainty. And we're down about 27%. Again, that's a significant number. Changes to contingent. This is when we make an offer and we get into contract with contingencies in our offer, down 24%. Change to pending. This is when all contingencies have been removed and we are ready to go to escrow. That's down about 35%. That's a pretty big number that we are down from last year. The next one we have here is TFT. TFT stands for transaction fell through. Now, some of the reasons that a transaction can fall through would be a change in employment status for the negative. It also could be that the buyer just simply gets cold feet and changed their mind. Difference from this time last year is only about 4%. Statistically, that's insignificant. Canceled listings, which is very, very close to TFT, but would be the owners of the property canceling their listing. 0% change, 1476 versus 1479. Statistically, it's very insignificant. Now, the last one here, withdrawn, are homeowners that have pulled their house off the market. They want to go back on the market. They've just withdrawn it temporarily. Now, that is up 35% from where we were last year in 2019. So that's a pretty significant number, 35%. Now, let's take a look at new homes listed compared. The gray line represents 2019 and the orange line represents 2020. Now, shelter in place occurred around March 17th, and that was over here. When that happened, we noticed that our new home listed dropped down significantly from where it was last year. There's quite a big delta here. So about 3 weeks ago, they had a easing of the shelter in place to where we could actually do home showings again. We could get people in to take a look at houses. Still no open houses, but we could show houses. Now, as a result of that, you'll notice that our new homes listed actually went up, and we're actually starting to show a trend that's very similar to where we were back in 2019. Sales. Okay, again, shelter in place. Sales kind of dropped off here, and you'll notice that it wasn't a huge difference, and then all of a sudden it started becoming a little bit more pronounced as far as the difference between sales in 2020 versus what's represented in the gray, which is 2019. Again, 3 weeks ago, showings resumed for us. We could show houses, and you'll notice that the health of the new sold listings in 2020 actually is starting to go up, and we're trending back towards where we were more so in 2019. So we're kind of going in the right direction here. Change to pending. Again, these are homes that are going into contract. Very low here for 2020. The brown curve represents where we were at 2020 versus 2019. Again, once showings resumed, you can see that our curve for 2020 actually starts growing up quite a bit. And actually at one point, we've actually exceeded where we were in 2019 for a brief moment. So this is promising as well. Now, transactions fell through. I mentioned it's statistically insignificant, and you can see that no matter what, it's staying very similar. There's certain spikes and certain anomalies, but again, 4% is really statistically insignificant from where we were 2019. Canceled listings, again, is statistically insignificant. we saw a big spike right after the shelter in place was enacted, but then it kind of calmed down a bit. I think home sellers started understanding that this is going to be going on for a while. It wasn't just a fluke. So it actually statistically is very similar to where we were in 2019 as well. Withdrawn listings, now right after shelter in place, we saw a huge spike in people deciding they wanted to pull their house off the market. A lot of uncertainty in the market. People didn't know what was going on, didn't know how long this was going to last. But as you'll notice, as we got used to it, you compare the withdrawn listings of 2020 compared to the gray curve of 2019, and it's very similar. Statistically, there's not a lot of difference between withdrawn for this year versus last year. Now, here's something that's quite interesting. So these are new listings and sold homes. So the yellow bars represent the new listings, and the blue represents the sold homes. Shelter in place, you'll see that the sales actually was very similar to the new listings, which means there's not a lot of inventory on the market. Now, the more inventory on the market, you'll see there's a difference between the new listings and what's sold. So more inventory means there's more options for new home buyers. It's not quite so competitive, although let's face it, the Silicon Valley housing market is always going to be competitive. But we're starting to see a little bit more inventory come on the market, which is good for new home buyers because now you have some more options and you have more houses to take a look at and consider. Now, this has everything that's been going on in 2020, and this shows shelter in place to showings resumed. This shows the blue curve, which is new. This shows the yellow curve, which is sold, purple, which is canceled, and red, which is withdrawn. So you can see right before shelter in place, there was a lot of new listings that were going on the market. But once shelter in place was enacted back on March 17th, things really slowed down quite a bit. And we saw a spike in the withdrawn and canceled. Again, the new versus sold actually is very tight right here. So you'll notice the inventory is very tight. And as we get further down and as we get to showings resume, again, the new listings is in blue, and we can see that there's quite a bit more inventory coming on the market now, and that's actually helping increase the sales as well. So sales is growing, and we are trending towards a larger sales curve as well. So again, things are trending a little bit more in the positive direction, very similar to where we were in 2019. So the market is strong, and it's getting a little bit stronger. So it's certainly a promising sign for the real estate market. So again, here's the numbers. I'll go over them really quick. Closed sales down 34%. New listings down 27%. Change to contingent and pending 24 and 35% respectively. TFT only 4%. Canceled basically 0%. Very small difference. Withdrawn, we're up 35%. Now keep in mind that withdrawn up 35% is skewed because there was a large amount of listings that were withdrawn after the shelter in place. Again, it's starting to get a little bit more towards a normal curve like we experienced last year as well. Again, this has been Real Estate Moment with Scott Perry. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, questions, or would like to chat with me in person, please put a comment down in the box below or contact me by phone or email. Thanks so much. Have a great day.